Estate Investing Profits presents Profit Masters with your host, world-renowned real estate coach and investor, Cory Boatwright. Now, strap in and get ready to learn elite wealth-building investment strategies taught by 6- and 7-figure house flipping masters as they reveal their best real estate investing profit secrets to you right now.
Welcome back. This is Cory Boatwright, founder of Real Estate Investing Profits, and your host on Profit Masters podcast series. Today, we have Mr. Mike Cuevas. Now, what's different about Mike? Well, he's known as the real estate marketing dude, and that is really what he's known as. He focuses a ton on marketing, getting the phone to ring, but also getting the systems in place so you can run a real estate investing business and not have it run you. Now, before we get to the interview, I'm going to ask you a question. If you've been on here before, you know what it is. Have you downloaded your free real estate investing quick start guide? If you haven't, go ahead, take your phone out right now, as long as you're not driving, and text the word profit, and that number is 38470. Text 38470 or the word profit. And what's going to happen is you're going to get a link back where you can download your Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide. My gift to you, and I hope you get a lot of value from it. Now, Mike Cuevas is someone that's been involved in real estate investing for over 12 years. Mike and I actually first met when he and I were both getting involved with short sales back in the early 2007, 2006, 7, 2008. And this guy was crushing it. I'm talking about doing 25, 30 closings a month. He had, I don't know, a handful, probably 15, 20. I think he said like over 20 agents at one time that he was in charge of with the brokerage that he was a part of. And it is just, he's got quite a story. So he has, devoured everything you can imagine for real estate education. And he's someone you want to learn from. So you're going to have a great treat on this interview. Mr. Mike Cuevas. What is going on, Mike Cuevas?
Cory, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I am doing well. Now, you're calling in from Chicago, right?
Yes, I am in Chicago, Windy City.
The Windy City, that's right. What's it like there? What's the weather like right now? Is it hot?
It's actually super duper humid. We get like 3 months a year here of good weather, then 4 months of crappy weather, then the rest is sort of in between. But it's hot. It's hot, it's humid. I'm not complaining. I'm inside right now, unfortunately, but I am going to Mexico tomorrow.
Nice. Where are you going to Mexico?
I'm going to hit Cabo San Lucas. I'm going back to the homeland. I'm Mexican, right?
That's awesome. Yes. Yeah. Gonna go back and visit your people.
That's right, man.
That's
right. You know it.
I love Cabo's amazing, man. The water's amazing. The food's amazing. Do you eat lobster when you're out there? Are you a big seafood person?
There's actually a place that's a very good lobster restaurant out there. And the last time I ate there, I got food poisoning. So I'm not going to name it right now. That's one of you probably know the one I'm talking about.
Leave that off. Well, cool. Okay, so appreciate you taking the time. I know you're crazy busy out there in Chicago. You and I known each other for a while now. And, again, you and I think we either met at an event or through one of the masterminds. And these real estate masterminds have just been so integral to community and making some incredible connections. And what we're doing here with our podcast series, it's our Real Estate Investing Profits Profit Master series. And we discuss, we have incredible rock star real estate investors like yourself come on and talk about some of your profit maximizing strategies, your master strategy on what's working in your area. And I like to take just a few minutes here. We're going to go through a few questions rather, and just go ahead and introduce who you are, what business that you're with, and what's your kind of expertise right now, what you're focusing on.
My name is Mike Cuevas. I've been in real estate for the last 12, 13 years. I am in Chicago, in the city and the suburbs. My expertise is mainly in marketing. I think that I was thinking about how I could provide most value to your listeners, and mainly I think marketing is where I'm at. I'm more of like a lead generator. I sort of like I now call myself the real estate marketing dude. That's my new new little tagline.
It's pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean, I find deals. I'm good at it. I'm very personable. That's sort of my strength. So I think that's what I definitely want to talk about. I actually right now what I'm doing is I'm actually sort of stumbled into this is that I'm finding deals for investors as a real estate agent. And I really discovered that using that as almost like as a marketing strategy, right. When the deals don't work for the investors, they just turn into listings. So, I mean, there's always a way to sort of monetize, if you will, that sort of the whole process. And what, honestly, if I don't know, how you tell me how many of your guys in your group, in your masterminds, how many of them are licensed? How many of them are actually, how many of them are teamed up with like investor friendly real estate agents? Because I see a huge opportunity in it.
Yeah, there is. There's some of them that are, but sometimes these real estate agents and real estate investors don't really play in the same sandbox, unfortunately. Yeah. Sometimes I think they have a hard time understanding each other. Mm-hmm. But the truth is that an investor, a good one, an ethical one, someone who knows what they're doing, a professional, can be definitely one of the largest assets for a real estate agent too, and vice versa. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mike, what made you get involved with real estate?
Sure. Real estate, to be honest with you, was my last college elective I took in college, and I sort of just stumbled into it. From the investing aspect, I started out as an agent, learned it in and out. But from the investment aspect, what happened in 2007, 2008. Yes. That's probably about the time we met up in like 08, 09. Yeah. Short sales came about, and I mean, everyone who's an investor knows how to, was in the short sale game because that's what the business was. And I scaled that. I scaled it, and I ran one of the largest short sale teams in the country from the real estate end, and I became an investor too. And it was a great ride, but, as we know, it's all over right now. There's not as many short sales, but the thing that I've learned is that like in any market, there's always an investing strategy. Absolutely. There's always a market. Yeah. And it just takes the individual, to just see it a lot of times.
Right.
Right now there's a paradigm shift going on, and that's what's so exciting about this is that, you need to be in the know with a lot of these people. Like, I don't know if, people probably rely on you guys to tell them, hey, what's coming next? And as long as you're on that train, man, I mean, there's always going to be real estate investing, period.
That's true. Yeah, and it is. And when the short sale game was so big, I jumped in as well. I know. What were you at, like your pinnacle time when you had how many deals in the hopper and how many deals were you closing? I know you were doing a lot.
We were closing. Now, I didn't always. I created like a whole short sale model. So, I once I became an investor in those, we might have been doing maybe 40 to 60 a year as an investor, but I never really, most of the times on those deals, the numbers didn't work for me. I didn't care. I stepped aside and handed them off to the real estate agent. So in terms of volume, that was up to, 25 to 35 closings a month.
Yeah.
That was for a good 2 years straight. So like it was a big operation, but the only way you're able to run something like that is just setting up a bunch of systems in place essentially and having the right team too,
It's crucial whenever you have the right team. They can really help you go a lot further than just by yourself. And it's so easy to just handle every aspect of that business on your own. I asked this question to every one of our guests, and some of them have an answer for it in a crazy story. Other ones just don't really relate too much with it. But did you have a breaking point, like before real estate, that you were doing something and it just wasn't working and you had a point where you said enough's enough?
I think the breaking point, I think is more so on how I viewed real estate. And that came in at, like 2007, 2008. The key here, I mean, at least for me, is marketing. I mean, if you could get deals in any sense, there's a million and one ways to run a business off of it.
Sure.
And what I've really realized and what I've learned in the past, 10 years, I would say, is whoever has the ability to bring in the business, whether you're in the short sale market, or if you're in a wholesaling market, or if you're just looking for rehabs, it doesn't matter. But, it's a numbers game. So you have to have the ability to bring in the business. And if you can, then it's lights out. Then you just need to have the right team in place. I mean, that's really how simple it is. And making the phone ring is the hardest thing to do right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways. You guys, I'm sure, are teaching the best ones out there. But that's the easy part, is making the phone ring. It's your process that comes next, how you handle that call. That is more important than anything, in my eyes. I meet with a lot of sellers, some that we just retail their houses and agents, some that really need to get out of in a bad spot. But if you know how to talk to sellers, when you meet with them, and if they like you, and if you could be trustworthy, and if you know what to do when you show up to a house to look at it for the first time, that is, to me, is 75% of the battle.
I agree. I think marketing is, it's always, there's two sides of the coin, right? If you know how to close all the deals in the world, but you suck at marketing, you need to have a marketer. You need to have someone that can make the phone ring. You can be the best marketer in the world and not know how to talk to a seller, and you need someone that can go and actually get involved with sales and outside sales. So you need, obviously, both sides of it. I think the huge value that you're bringing to the table, though, is really understanding where your big strength is, which is marketing and getting that phone to ring. And then also, you're also really great with systems too, and building a team, which, that's not the easiest thing in the world to do at all. Was there an influence for you involved with real estate investing whenever you were starting, Mike?
No, I think I was getting a bunch of your emails at the time.
I was spamming you.
Yeah, you probably were. And no, between you and everyone else, that's how I actually fell in, to be honest with you. You go to an event, you see this happen. And I think the biggest challenge a lot of people also have too is they see it and like, it's too good to be true. I can't do that. Right. I can't do this. What do you mean you can't do this? Get off your ass and get out and do it.
Right.
You could do anything you want. You just got to go out there and do it. But it is very crucial to learn, from the right, and to learn the right process. But you mentioned something that's cool I want to touch on. Unique ability. Actually, I have this book here. This is a great book. It's called Now Discover Your Strengths.
Oh, yeah. That's Buckingham. Yeah. Has the Strength Finder test in that back of the book, too.
Yeah, actually, it's awesome. It's an awesome book. And you're exactly right. You hit it right on the head. And one of the biggest, I think, transformations is just understanding what you're good at and understanding what you're not, and then outsourcing what you're not and excelling in what you do. And then that's how you set up your team. You have to be honest with yourself and, hey, I suck at this, but hey, I'm kick ass at this. Let's do this.
So was there somebody that you were following? Did you ever go and to any other events that taught you systems per se, or is that something that you're always good at?
I think that's something I always look at the business from a business perspective. Like, how can I run this and go on vacation for a week? That's the way my mind sort of works, is just, I want to be able, how can I do this, but do 10 of them at a time? And to do that, you got to have a process in place. You can't just go out there and wing it.
Right.
It's no different in the restaurant industry. They don't have different recipes every time they make one of the meals. It's the same recipe. Same thing in your business. You got to have the same process, same system, and just repeat and then scale.
I like that analogy for a same recipe. What was a big faux pas? What was something that was a bad mistake or a bad deal that happened to you? I know we've all had them.
Yeah.
And how did you get through it?
A bad deal that happened to me. I bought a rehab, and this is 2008.
Okay.
And maybe this will help anyone who's listening to this. Write this down. Know who your contractors are, and make sure they know their numbers. Okay, because what happened to me was I bought a house. Oh yeah, that'll be a $30,000 rehab. Well, the $30,000 rehab turned into a $75,000 to $80,000 rehab, and I did the math on that house. I actually lost probably $20,000, $25,000 on that house, and I relied on the contractor. So you can never depend on anybody. You have to know your business in and out yourself. Even if you're not doing it, you need to be the master of that. And that was the biggest mistake, is that I didn't know construction costs at that time.
How did you get through it? How did you, cope with that?
you learn lessons. Just that lesson I just gave you right there, that was the lesson I learned from it. So yeah, it was a $25,000 loss, but how much money did that experience save me in the future is the way I look at it, you know?
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And plus, it's all relative too, right? Like at the time, I mean, that's a bad, obviously, deal. But if you're doing, $100,000 or whatever, then you can kind of handle that. If you're just doing one deal, and that happens,
absolutely,
it's a pretty big one. Yeah, that's good though. And also, I can add to the contractor statement you said, make sure they're not inebriated on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, I mean, and again, what does it go back to? What we're sort of talking about it goes back to having the right team in place, right?
Right.
And I see this all the time. Like even with just some of our real estate clients, like there were some of the rehabbers we work with, dealing with their contractors. The costs never come in at what they expect.
Never.
It just never happens.
Super rare, right?
And once you find that right fit, I mean, that's got to be. For a rehabber, that's got to be one of your most important pieces of the puzzle right there.
I agree. That's great. Okay, so let's talk about the Profit Master strategy. I know that you've kind of redirected. You're putting a lot of emphasis right now on really being lead generator. Mm-hmm. What's a profit strategy that's working well in your business right now that you can share with those listening? Okay.
Well, I'm not actively rehabbing right now. I've gone the marketing route. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So it's just something I like doing. It's a personal preference. So I'm watching everyone else make a lot of money, but I'm doing volume too. So at the end of the day, we're probably about even. And I don't have to deal with the headaches of the rehabs. That's just my personal preference. Sure. However, if I were rehabbing right now, one of the biggest opportunities that I see missed for a lot of rehabbers, and I see a couple investors in my market doing this, and they're doing it the right way. They're using their real estate agents that are all investor friendly, and they're doing the marketing. So they're shunning their marketing costs off on the agents.
Gotcha.
Okay. So they're shunning the marketing costs off on the agents. The agents aren't paying anything.
As an investor, they're
right.
putting in on the agent. Okay.
Right. So they're either handling the fulfillment of that for them, and the agents are paying it because the agents are approaching the homeowners and saying, hey, I have a buyer for your house. I have a buyer for your house, essentially. And they're going after different types of lists. But it's a numbers game. In this market, people are greedy, and they're not all thinking. Not everyone is. Everyone wants more money now. It's not how it was a couple of years ago, as you know. And every deal is what they're doing is they're monetizing every deal because they're licensed. So yes, they could still collect a referral fee if they're not going to take the deal down. And what that's doing is just paying. It's paying their nut so that they could scale the marketing. Because we're seeing here for investment deals, at least on my team, maybe 1 in 10 might work for a rehabber or like an investment type deal. And that's probably even being generous.
Right.
You have to find that person in that situation that the deal makes sense on all angles. It just doesn't, it's just not going to, you're not going to find as many on the MLS as you used to, so you have to do a lot of marketing to find as many deals if you're going to work the investor.
What kind of splits are being made then? What do you see on the splits for that marketing between the investor and the agent?
It could go either way. I mean, if you have the investor, because you got to think about it, because the realtors want to do this. You know why? Is because the houses that don't work for the investor, there's no better way to sell in real estate than just to be freaking honest. All right. There's no sale anymore. This is just supply people with the right, honest to God truth. And that's it. Just tell them the truth. So if I walk into somewhere and I'm like, all right, ma'am, she wants in that $400,000. If I'm an agent, I'm like, dude, I can get you 420. I'm going to take that listing. I'm approaching and say, you know what, this doesn't work for my buyer, but it definitely works for you. So just this last week, we had this is one that worked for our investor buyer. They're closing on Monday, but it's a lot. Okay. So it's a lot. He's going to build a $1.7 million sellout on that. So we got paid on the purchase because that seller needed to get out. She needed my buyer to get out as soon as possible. She had a death and a family, and it was a really sad situation, but we were able to help her in that situation. And now we also are getting the listings on the back end with that buyer for new construction, which will turn out to a lot of other deals. So there's so many ways right now, I guess I'd say, that you can do this. But the investors who are licensed, is my point, is that they could team up with the marketing for the real estate agents, right? And if they're going to go ahead and do that, great. And there's no reason why they can't collect a referral fee if they're not on the deal. They're not buying it. So the realtors, every lead they're the ones who are meeting with the sellers. And every lead is a listing. So it works out for both people.
And a lot of real estate agents aren't great marketers, right?
No,
so
they're not.
That's a great opportunity right there just to be an automatic marketer for them. Right.
And that's exactly what's happening. You hit it right on the head, is that realtors are bad marketers. That's why I created the real estate marketing dude. So they're horrible marketers, but they're good generally at what they do, and they don't have the time to be marketers, to be honest with you. They don't have time to lick stuff, stamp, seal envelopes, deliver them out, do direct mail and all that stuff. But they're good at talking to people.
Right.
That's half the battle.
That's true.
And the investors are outsourcing that. So they're saving time. I mean, they're running a business at that point.
Sure.
So it works out. It's pretty cool.
That's good. I really like that, have the agent do the marketing. That's do the marketing for the agent. What's one piece of advice that you'd share about running a successful real estate business, Mike?
Surround yourself with the right people. I made a lot of mistakes that I learned about. I remember when I was running my huge team, mainly doing short sales. I had up to like 28 agents working for me. I had about 26 headaches, and it was the key here is that I didn't need that many, but I thought big is better. Big's not always better. And it's more important to surround yourself with quality versus quantity, I would say, and competency. And that's my biggest piece of advice.
This kind of leads into another question, too. If you had to start all over, what would you change? Maybe some advice from someone starting out.
If I was to start all over, what would I change? I don't know I don't even know what I would change. My life feels like it's one of those things that I would never want to do again, but I did it, and I was glad I did because I know how much I worked. But a newbie starting out, I think the biggest challenge I see with people, like, this is going to be a long road ahead of me. Well, you're going to say that in 12 months from now, that you're halfway there. You got to start somewhere. You can't always say, this is too much work. People right now are entitled to, everyone wants to get rich fast. No, build a business. That's the fun part about it. Be you and do what you want to do. And you got to put in the work. And once you put in that work, that time, whether you're investing in a coaching program or whether you're investing in marketing, you have to look at it as an investment. And you got to start somewhere. So start somewhere fresh and find someone to guide you. Would be my advice. I think all of us learned from someone else, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So why, if we learn from someone else, what does that tell you? Go learn from someone else. Don't recreate the wheel. Just make it faster.
That's going to lead to another good question here in just a minute about a coach and a mentor, what that meant to you. But do you have a favorite motivational or business quote?
I like the one, you probably got a lot of people say this, but I like the one you get the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
That is so true to me. Even in the groups that we were in together, those are some of the best times I recall. And it's because it's just refreshing to be around like-minded people, and you motivate each other that way.
Totally agree.
So I think that's one of my favorite quotes. It always sticks out in my head.
That's a great one. I love that one too. What books do you recommend, or name one that maybe changed your life?
The one I showed you, the Now Discover Your Strengths. I really like that. I could pop this on it's going to be backwards on this camera, but if your listeners want to watch that, read that. It's a really good book.
Yeah, you're showing the Marcus Buckingham book. It's what is it?
It's called Now Discover Your Strengths.
Yeah.
That really like sort of takes you through, and it pretty much what I said. I mean, I got everything I just said from that book to you. So it's like, the other one I like is I like EntreLeadership.
Oh yeah, that's Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey. If you're running a team or something like that, I got a lot out of that. It was really beneficial. It just taught you how to be a leader and how to work with the team, get people to respect you. I made a lot of mistakes in my past, my team, and I see them reading that book. So I think those two are really, really, really good books to read.
He's a stud, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Stud on his leadership, and he's got a great radio show. I don't agree with everything he has out there, but I do agree with a majority of it. What's one of your favorite apps, or like something you use every single day?
I do a lot of social media stuff now. Okay. So I use Canva for all my images on that.
Canva. I'll put that in the show notes.
It's Canva.
Yeah.
So basically, and it's so easy to use, and it's basically allows you to become a graphic designer without having to ever open up Photoshop.
Love it.
So that's a really cool app to create cool images that I use a lot.
That's a good one. I use that one quite a bit too. What's your morning routine, or do you have one?
Yeah, it's pretty consistent. I wake up whenever my daughter jumps on me and get her ready for school, take her to school, and I drink
What time you wake up?
I wake up about 7 to 7:30ish, give or take.
Okay.
And then take her to school, send her on her way. Come home, drink 2.5 cups of coffee.
Wow.
I get all my emails done. My whole day is structured. Emails get done in the day. I work on my marketing business in the morning. In the afternoon, I work on my real estate business in the morning. And believe it or not, I still have a yellow pad of paper. It's probably here somewhere. That's what works for me. I have a yellow pad of paper. And the night before every evening, I write down what I have to do the next day. So I just go down, and I'm a D personality. So I'm a checklist person. So I check, done. That's works very well for me. People think I'm crazy, but it works.
Oh, that's good. I mean, a yellow pad, whatever works for you is what's most important, right? Some people go the digital route. I like a lot of the digital route, but the pen and paper work just as well. Most important is it's going to help you get things accomplished. What's a great lesson that you've learned that's helped you get to where you are today?
Great lesson that I learned is that there is no better lesson than experience. It's worth it to take on a mentor or to have someone sort of walk you through the ropes. I don't know whether you're an investor, you're a real estate agent, whatever it is, because you can't learn about that crap in a book. You know what I mean? Like you can't, you're never going to know how it feels to lose $25,000 until you lose $25,000. And mistakes are the best way you learn, at least for me. So experience is the number one thing. Get as much experience as possible. Get out from behind your desk. Go out there and shake hands and meet people. Talk to people. Don't be shy. And just go out there and get it.
I like that. This leads actually into the great question about what point would you recommend someone hires a coach or a mentor, and how important has that been to your business?
Sure. Well, let me just put it this way, is that if you have a question about something in the business that you're in and you don't know the answer to it, then I think you need to hire a coach or a mentor because it's pretty straightforward. The whole coaching and mentor thing is it's necessary. It wouldn't exist if it wasn't. And, you either have two options. I'm going to go out and learn this on my own and do the mistakes. And how much are those mistakes costing you? Right? Say you go out there and you screw up a deal and you say you did like what I did. You lose $25,000 on a deal. Well, I would have rather just paid $25,000 in coaching and built a relationship, moved on, and learned the experience. So I don't make those mistakes. Because sometimes, like I said in the previous question, you need that experience to avoid those mistakes. And as long as you know it's an investment and not a cost, then, we have, a lot of us went to college. That costs money. Mm-hmm. I think a mentor or coach is a lot better education than what I went to school for. I mean, I was learning about freaking geological graphs. Like, who gives a crap, None of that stuff matters. Do I use that today in work? No, it's the first 2 years. It was all crap. The last 2 years were okay, but, I'd much rather a mentorship type thing works.
Yeah, it's so important. I think we often put it as the last thing. And I've had guests on here that have said they would put it in the very beginning. Even if they had to start all over again, someone said, just get a mentor in the beginning. It's pretty interesting how many of the same guests say the same thing over again. Maybe that's definitely a clue on getting involved with a mentor or a coach. It's easy for me to say I'm doing coaching right now, but
sure.
I whenever these other people I'm talking to that are just killing it in the real estate world, all saying the same thing, that it makes you definitely
the most successful people have coaches.
Right.
I don't know anyone that doesn't.
Right.
Whether it's a life coach or business coach or anything. I mean, no matter how successful you are, you're never going to be, you're never going to know it all. I don't care who you are. Right. You just won't. And even the best need help. They need a kick in the ass too.
Right. I mean, even in your life working with Jeff Watson, you and I both know. Yeah. I mean, that was a huge
for
deal
sure.
Whenever you guys got together and did some things in short sales. What are you most grateful for right now?
I'm most grateful for my family. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to be alive, to be working my own business, to have my own thoughts, to be able to work for myself. Life's good right now. There's nothing I could really complain about. Just to be alive, be doing what I like doing, following my passion right now. And I think no matter what business you're in, as long as you do what you want to do, I think it leads to success.
It's good, man. It's so good to hear you say that too. I mean, we've all been up and down, and man, to hear you say that it's good stuff, man. Let me ask you another question. It goes along right with that.
Sure.
Why do you do what you do? Why do you get up in the morning and do this real estate business? Why? Not, but why do you do what you do?
Okay. Well, who wrote that? Is it Simon Sinek? What's the Why book?
Simon.
Okay.
It's called Start With Why.
Start With Why.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah. Well, I do what I do because I have a why. And my why is this little girl right here. And my family, my parents.
Obviously, Mike's showing a picture of his daughter.
Oh yeah, if you can't hear that, show a picture of my daughter. That's my why. I work for my family. I mean, everyone has to have a why. If you don't, you're not going to get anywhere. So I believe that everyone has one. Maybe just some people don't know what it is yet. But that's why I work. That's why I work my butt off every day. And I like working because I like what I do. So I don't know what else I'd be doing.
That's great. It's a great why to have. And a lot of the guests I have on here, they also say the same. I mean, to be a provider for their family it really builds a lot of significance in you.
There's no better feeling. Like tomorrow I'm going to Cabo, and there's no better feeling to be able to purchase that plane ticket for my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and my dad, and not blink at it, and just take them there, and just to see the look on their faces when we land. And when my father-in-law just became a legal citizen this year, and he hasn't been back to Mexico in like 15 years, and he's from Mexico. So he's just the look on his face. He's so excited. Stuff like that. That's your why. I got chills just talking about that.
Just talking about that right now too, man. I got a little, that was great, man. In fact, you saying that right now, you probably just inspired and maybe even gave someone else a reason to push harder. Because that's awesome, man. What a beautiful thing to be able to do that. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on here. I know you got things you got to do. Thank you for taking the time. How can my audience help you? What can we do to serve you? How can we better get in touch with you? How to contact you?
Well, for the past almost year, I've been building out my new site. My new business model is I'm teaching real estate marketing. Check me out. Follow me on social. My website's pretty easy to remember, realestatemarketingdude.com. So
I'll put
all my handles, all my handles are on there. You could go ahead and follow me. But all the stuff that I teach realtors and are the same marketing strategies for mortgage brokers, for investors. It's all the same thing.
Are you doing it outside of Chicago or
I just launched. I'm just launching right now. So I just got I just finished my site. I got a couple more things to add into, but yeah, right now I'm looking at, maybe some of your students, they know agents or people that need help in marketing, send them to me. Have them check out the site. There's a ton of free resources there. And that's it. That's what I decided to do for the next 2 to 5 years, and we're going to see what happens.
That's great. And so is it inside Chicago or outside too?
It's online. I'm all over. So I started my local business here. I started a marketing company specifically for real estate. From video production to online squeeze pages. I mean, just basically every aspect of marketing, because real estate agents suck at it in general, and I saw an opportunity.
Capitalize on it when you see the opportunity.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, great. That's fantastic. Well, thanks again for taking the time to be on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Really appreciate you, man. And it sounds good. Have a good time in Cabo. Wow, that's going to be great. And for your family and for you. And like I said before, sometimes we go take a vacation. For us drivers and doers, we feel guilty when we're not working. So my advice, just don't feel guilty.
Oh, I'm not.
Just relax and understand that sometimes relaxing actually is getting more done inside here than it is just getting things accomplished. So I think sometimes people don't realize that whenever you relax and just calm out, there's a there's an app called Headspace. If you don't use it or haven't heard about it, Timothy Ferriss referred it to me, and I use it. It's great, and it basically just lets you kind of zone out. I usually use it in the morning, and it just gives you a chance to get centered, kind of for the day, and just be okay with everything that's going to be happening, not be in reactionary mode so much. Just be okay and chill, and that, a lot of that has to do with just calming down your mind. And I really, one of the other things too, when you're out there by the beach, just a quick note, that the water is like your mind. So whenever a lot of people want to live by the beach, and their idea of vacation is always by a beach, is because it's the way their mind also is, and so just relax while you're out there. Let your mind just kind of wander and don't feel guilty.
Cory, this is the first 7-day vacation, with the exception of when I got married, that I'm taking since spring break in college.
Yeah.
You work hard, allows you to play hard.
That's awesome, man. Well, I know you play smart too, which is just as important.
Yes.
All right. So remember, be a servant. I really appreciate you being on here. Make sure you're on the next podcast series for our real estate investing Profit Masters, and we'll have another amazing guest and sharing their best tips and tricks with you and strategies. So thanks again, Mike. I'll talk to you later.
See you, bud.
All right. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to another Real Estate Investing Profits Master Podcast series. To receive your free real estate book, Down and Dirty, Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide, how to quit your job to start flipping houses in 90 days or less, head online and go to realestateinvestingprofits.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Estate Investing Profits. Thanks again for listening, and stay tuned for our next episode.